Alrighty folks, thanks for tuning in. This video is long overdue. I'm going to be doing a front to back review of this 2023 Old Town AutoPilot 120. I wanted to wait till I had some hours logged on the water to give you my honest opinion of this kayak. Here's a walk around of it. Now, full disclosure, I am affiliated with this company, but I will be telling you about all the cons in addition to the pros and some of the modifications that I've made. So starting in the front, you got the typical Old Town handle. This is great. I just added another Rogue strap, not necessary. I'm gonna start it off with a con here. Inside the hull storage. Now this comes with, I don't know, maybe a 5.5 inch lid here, and it's not meant to put things in here. It's really for wiring purposes, but I really would like access in here. They could make this opening bigger, make it maybe a rectangular shape, turn the handle, whatnot. I think it would just be an awesome perk to have, to be able to put bigger things in here. Now I did a mod here. I added a mesh bag, and there's another video if you want to see, but I just added these cylinders that fit perfectly in this hole. I put 3 of them in here, and so it does help, but again, there's still more space in there that we can access, just limited by this opening hatch size. Okay, moving on. I don't have the motor here, but this quick release for the motor is amazing. Actually, let me go grab them. All right, motor is in. This is the Minn Kota iPilot motor, and this is the connection. All the wiring is run inside the hull. And let me tell you, this motor, first off, it's not that heavy. It weighs about as much as my PDL drive if you have an Old Town PDL. But I've put this through the ringer. I've hit stumps, I've hit trees, I've had grass stuck in it. All it is it pops up. So there's 2 kill switches with it, which I think are genius on this. There's one here that clips onto the motor, and it has to touch this magnetic bar. You heard that beep. But if you hit something, and even if there's 1/8 of an inch separation, it's gonna kill the motor. So that's one safety. And then the other kill switch, which is on this side, this attaches to you. I think this motor is phenomenal. Again, everyone knows this has spot lock. It has autopilot. You can go front, back, side to side. And this is really the reason why people get this kayak. And from my understanding, this is the only kayak that has a built-in motor. A lot of people you see put it in the bow here. They put an XI3 or some type of other Minn Kota, or you can put it in the stern. You could put a Torqeedo or a Newport NK180. But the fact that this is built in and it's not all the way up in the front, because I've had guys, especially in the salt or rough conditions, when they have a bow mounted motor, they're taking on a lot more water. But the fact that this is recessed back a little bit, built in, it's not as tall, which is great too when you're casting compared to some of the XI3s. I think it's a huge advantage, and probably the most important one why folks get this kayak. All right, moving on. Deck space, even on the 120, is amazing. They do have the 136, which is 1.5 feet longer, but I like the fact that I could put this in the bed of my truck. I don't need a bed extender, and 3 straps and I'm ready to go. These foot pedals are awesome. Now, this seat does not move front and back, but you don't need it to, because these foot pedals are adjustable. Minor thing, these do come off, but I just added silicone and haven't had any issues, but really not a big deal. And there's a ton of spaces for tool storage. You got one right there. I have a Magnalure magnetic pad there, so you can throw whatever tools there. And then let me come around to this side. You have a couple more spots for tools or whatever you need to. I always keep sunblock and bug spray. And you have 2 gear tracks on both sides in the front. You always got to have the double cup holders for coffee and water. But in all seriousness, there's so many things you can put on there. Now I put my graph a little bit further back just because I like it closer to the seat, and I have it on a aftermarket handle. This is Navarre with a slot for a T-bolt, so you could put your graph there. But up here, it's really simple to engage the motor. There is a cleat here. You pull this all the way down, the motor will go down, and once you hear the beep when that kill switch touches this magnetic strip, you lock it in the cleat and you're ready to go. Kayak is dirty, my apologies, but again, this thing takes a beating, especially the motor here. And it's so simple. If you get things stuck in the prop, you just undo that wing nut, clean it out, and you drop it in. Look at this. If you can see the scratches on this, and that's from boulders. I mean, not even little rocks. I've crashed this into boulders. I've crashed the kayak into docks, not paying attention because I got so used to the autopilot feature. But the deck space, again, is amazing. I predominantly stand up and fish if the conditions allow, and it's just perfect for what I use it for. As you can see here, these blue things, these are deck lights. I have 4 of them. They're from Yak Power. They're great, easy to install. One thing before I move on, you have to have navigation lights, right? It's a motorized kayak. Regardless of where you live, you need your red and your green. It would be nice if Old Town would just pre-wire for navigation lights, since there's already wiring for the motor to the battery anyway. I think that would be a nice feature. Did add a homemade Kydex keel guard. This is super cheap, easy to do, and it's gonna last me for years. All right, moving on. It has 2 forward-facing rod holders, and I love these, especially after you've landed a fish or you're retying. It's super important. I don't really use it for fishing, but some people do use it for trolling, but they just come in handy for me. And there's also 2 built-in cup holders, which I think is great. I have these yak sacks. These are awesome. They're semi-waterproof, attached right to the seat, and I keep everything I need in here. I got pens, I got scissors, knives, and I keep my phone in here with the tether. I don't use the Rogue tether, even though I have it, just because it always tangles up and bothers me. So I use just a cheap old iPhone case, and I just swap it out. It's got like a little ring there. But I keep 2 of these yak sacks attached to the seat. The seat is super comfortable, don't get me wrong. I do have a lot of cushions on here, but I personally just have a lot of back issues. If your back is normally good to go, you don't need it. It's just a nice perk to have. This is a huge spot here where you can put Plano boxes, whatever you need to. I just keep this cheap little cart here. I put in used tackle, whatever, trash. It's just a nice space to have. This is a lever here just to raise and lower your rudder. And then you also have 2 more rod holders. These are rear facing. Going back to the seat, I don't think I mentioned, these are all made by Kayak Cushion. Phenomenal company, great products. Okay, on the back of the seat, I have a little cooler. Perception kayaks, this is awesome. Yak Hacker makes another good one that's a little bit bigger, but I just keep my lunch in here and keep some cold water. It really saves tank well space, so you can put other things. One cool thing is that they have this cover plate here. If you don't want to use your motor and you're paddling only, you can cover up that opening for your motor up there. I have seat risers on here. This is Yak Hobby, 2 inches. But the seat moves in 2 positions. This is the high position, and then you can pop it into the low position down there, and the back would rest here. If you're taller like me, seat risers do help. I added a gear track back here, and right now I have 2 Yak Attack rod holders just because I want to carry more rods in this next tournament. It comes with 2 big gear tracks on the back here, and I have actually, this is the flag for the Yak Power, so that I just need to plug in the flag, and there's the power source, and I'll have my 360 light. But look at how big this tank well area is. You could really put 2 crates back here, whatever you need to. If you want to go camping in this, it has plenty of room for camping gear as well. And the rudder is extra large. Okay, so the steering on this thing is pretty good. It's actually better than my PDL 120. It's pre-drilled for your shallow water anchor mount here. And there's a drain plug down here with, again, I like this feature. It's got 2 molded handles on both sides because this kayak is heavy. And let's see. There's your paddle holder. This is cool here. This isn't a Minn Kota, I forgot what the name of it. It's a puck basically, and it has a jogging feature. So when you're in spot lock, you know, you can just press left, right, up, down, and this will move you in 5 feet increments, whichever direction you want to go. And I find myself using this a lot because I like staying anchored. But let's say you're just working the bank, or you want to fish an offshore waypoint and fish around it. This is a cool feature to have. This is nice. A little dry box here. I added a power source, but I keep my remote, some cables, and your battery box. This is a cool feature. This is awesome. The battery box has a built-in slot underneath the seat. It's not taking up deck space, tank wall space, but right underneath. And the Old Town battery box is phenomenal. It's got a built-in circuit breaker. It fits a 100 amp hour battery perfectly. And this is the connection to the motor. So all the wiring, again, is inside the hull. And you have an opening here. I don't know if you can see it. That's where I keep my 20 amp hour Naqua battery, and I have my Yak Power switch system down there. And I don't have the buttons for the Yak Power because depending on which Yak Power switch system you have the app. So it's Bluetooth connected. So, you know, I use my phone, but then if I, you know, for emergency purposes, if I needed to get in here, I could also turn it on and off from inside the hull. This is the iPilot remote that it comes with. Phenomenal remote. I just mounted it here because I use the micro remote, which it doesn't come with, but this is nice just because it's much lighter and I can put it around my neck when I'm fishing. But if I'm sitting down, I use this to steer. It does come with a lanyard, so you can put it around your neck. You can clip it to your PFD. It's awesome. So this is truly a hands-free fishing platform. You have the option of using the remote, but if you're making long runs, you have the foot steering as well. The fact that you have both options is awesome, and they both come in handy and they have their purposes. As far as the kayak itself, just like any other Old Town kayak, the stability is hands down, in my opinion, the best out there. Now, some people will complain that this is slow, there's faster kayaks. That is true, but you have to really determine for yourself. Do you want stability or do you want speed? Because typically you're not going to get both. Me personally, 4 miles, I'm getting about 4.2 miles on full speed. That's plenty. Because for me, the most important thing is once I get to a fishing spot, having the spot lock function, being able to jog whichever direction I need to. This is a fishing kayak, okay? It's not gonna win any races, but it will help you land some fish. The deck here, this foam is super comfortable and really durable, it seems like. You can go barefoot. I know I talked about the kill switch, but I like the fact that it's just out of the way. You don't have all these wires coming from the battery box. You got this simple plastic piece, and boom, you just clip it on, you're ready to go. So you just need to make sure that that's on, your motor is touching the magnetic kill switch on the other side there, and you're good to go. One of the cons, I haven't had a problem yet, but are these plugs. Old Town is aware of it, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably upgrade these to something else. These are I think these are the Atwood connectors. I do notice some play there, but I do clean it out as much as I can, make sure I put dielectric grease on it. So far so good, but I know that's a common complaint with these. But to me, that's something that's fixable. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a con, but it would have been nice for Old Town to do, is you have this open space here. It's just calling for a gear track. If they just put 2 there, I think that's just a nice feature. Okay, last con before I get to probably the most important pro or advantage of this kayak is the color choices. You really have two. You have this one and the other one. A lot of folks are particular about their color. It'd be nice if Old Town had maybe just 2 or 3 more options. Okay, the most important thing I think with this kayak has nothing to do with the kayak itself. It's that right there, the company. By far the best warranty, lifetime haul warranty. The customer service is top notch. They address problems, you know, and I've had folks actually use the warranty and they got a new kayak. The reputation speaks for itself. This company's been around over 100 years, and there's a reason why it's one of the most popular kayaks on the market. And it's the only one that has an integrated motor, like I said before. It's not an aftermarket. You don't put it on a mount. It's built in. That's all I can think of. I know I'm missing something. Feel free to leave a comment. I'm pretty responsive. Probably spent, I don't know, close to 100 hours on this thing, and I am just so absolutely happy that I got it. It just makes my experience more enjoyable. I don't use a trailer, as I mentioned before. I put this in the bed of the truck and it's no problem. I don't think you'll be disappointed, just as long as your expectations are real. You're not gonna get 7-8 miles per hour on this thing. Thanks as always for tuning in. I appreciate the support. Till next time, take care, guys.